Yes, hello everyone. My name is John Crane. I am the general manager of the Portland Food Co-op in Portland, Maine.
Can you tell us about the recent Portland Food Co-op listening project?
That was a really great process to go through, and I think the reason we're having this talk is so that I can encourage other people to think about having a listening study done. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, you work with an organization or someone outside of your own organization because the idea is to get outside of your co-op community and into areas of your community that don't shop with you and try to learn what their impressions are of your co-op, if they have any. There might be many people who don't know you at all, or if they do know you and don't shop with you, what are the barriers? Do they not consider that's a store for them? Is it price? Is it location, convenience, or whatever? Please don't take what I'm saying and just start implementing it in your own co-op. Every community is different. The makeup of everybody's community, the food needs are different, because one of the biggest benefits that we got from this is just asking the questions and having people know that we were curious about how they were doing and what their needs were. So start with that. But I would say what we learned is that in this whole process, humility and the ability to listen are more important than anything else. I think we had been of the mindset for a long time, and I'll use this as a really good example of we need to figure out what types of foods people want to purchase here. And so we need to know for all of the different cultural groups that exist in Portland, what foods can't you get? What could we bring in? How could we bring more culturally appropriate foods to our neighborhood? And one of the strongest messages that came from the listening study was, please don't do that. We have an abundance of markets here in Portland, from Asian markets to Latinx markets to many different ethnicities from the African continent, halal markets, and they're like, please don't compete with us. We are trying really hard to establish our own businesses, to meet the needs of our own communities, and you are not helping by just becoming a competitor to us. I come back to that need for humility. Stop trying to come up with the solutions by yourself because you don't even know what the problems are. And really, when we've had one of the bigger problems is you all speak English, everything in the store is in English. For people who don't speak English well, we don't even want to come in the door. One of the things that came out of our study, but I feel pretty safe that this would be applicable to almost everybody, is do really solid DEI sensitivity and training at each level of your store. I mean, do it at the board level, at the management level, at the staff level. If you can do it at the community level, it's great. But it's something everybody thinks they know. Everybody thinks they're open and accepting and thinks that they know what DEI work is. And it's not until you actually do it that you realize that you have no idea. And that sense of humility, I think, really comes to play. Really just taking on that um, the belief that we're here to learn and we're here to understand and we're here to do better. We're here to make up for a lot of mistakes we've probably made in the past by not being inclusive and by putting our own predominant culture first and foremost in everything that we did, and recognizing that that was not okay in the beginning, and now we want to learn from people how can we stop doing this and how can we move forward in a much more inclusive way. I really look at it in terms of our own co-op, that very few of us had true inclusivity sort of in the DNA of our startups. And many co did not. It was about meeting the needs of your own community, and chances are your community was a certain group of white people. And so it was not built into the initial structure, and some of co-ops went 10, 20, 30, 40 years before it even occurred to them, we have built a very white organization here. And I know there's in the larger co-op movement, there's a lot of talk about this. And I think we need to do our own reparation work to say, we're sorry we started out this way. We're sorry we didn't recognize it sooner. And we really need to undo a lot of our words, beliefs, structures, so that they are more accessible to more people. I am just so thrilled that I feel like finally that this type of work, this inclusivity work, is really becoming recognized as necessary in our cooperative world. Because I think of the cooperative movement prior to the 1970s in the US, or just in many parts of the world in general, is based on social equity and based on creating an economic system for people who have been shut out of the predominant economic system. And so social equity and social action is really in the DNA of cooperatives. But for some reason, our little microcosm of food co-ops in the US have not carried that banner very well. And I'm glad that we're really doing the work to actually rectify that.